because we don't have a schedule, I'm going to Hajj. But when we get there, we get distracted. We get to see something and we forget why we're there. So until we finish Hajj, so what did I do? I don't even think. Then you lost it. Before you go, make sure that you have a list of things you should do every single day. You can think of it today, but if you don't have that schedule with you, when you get there, a lot of things going on. Somebody calls you, let's go shopping, let's go do this, let's go. No, by the time that you look, oh, the time is over, Hajj is over, and that's it. So it's very, very important, my dear brothers and sisters. Before we leave, we have to have the schedule. Now, after we finish, now we come to the conditions of Hajj. When Hajj becomes wajib, there are many conditions. Condition number one is al-bulugh. One has to be baligh. For that matter, if one is not baligh and he goes to Hajj, his Hajj is fine. But what happens is if the person, non-baligh, goes to Hajj, while he is in the a'mal of Hajj, if he becomes baligh at that moment, his Hajj becomes Hajjatul Islam and he doesn't have to repeat it again. But if he finished the a'mal of Hajj, still he's not baligh, is not at the age of puberty, shar'an, then that Hajj would not count. Meaning in the future, if he becomes mustati', he has to go and do Hajj again. That's the first one. Number two, second condition, al-aql. One has to be sound-minded. Meaning, the person doesn't have any mental problems. If one has a mental problem, the Hajj does not count. But here, we have two types of mental problems. We have what we call al-junoon al-idwar, and then we have al-junoon al-itbaqi. What does it mean? Junoon al-mutbaq, it means somebody is mental 24/7. All throughout the year. He is sick, he cannot understand anything all the time. Some people, called Junoon Idwari, their mental is from time to time. They say that if the person who is mental from time to time, like maybe in the beginning of the month, first 5 days, he has this mental problem. But after that, he's fine. They say if he's fine during the period where he can go and perform Hajj and he's fine, they say Hajj is wajib upon him. And one important thing also we have to remember, Hajj is wajib fawri. What does it mean? That wajib, that as soon as you meet the condition, you or we are not allowed to delay it. I cannot say that, oh, I am able to go this year, but I thought of making it next year. Guess what? If next year I'm not able, it's still wajib. If next year I'm not able, it's still wajib. Because at one point, I was able and I didn't go. If not going is because of a good reason, which is sickness, which is, for example, not allowed, not being granted a visa. These are a good reason that if next year I'm not able to go, I don't have to go. But if no, all the conditions are there and I can go, but I myself say, no, I don't feel like this year going. I'll do it next year, inshallah. And then next year what happened? I lost my job. I can't go next year. Now it's still wajib. They say you have to go. If I couldn't make it the rest of my life, they say you have to put in your wasiyah, in your will, that your child or somebody has to be hired later on to do Hajj on your behalf. That's what's called wajib al-fawri. It's a wajib that when one meets the condition that year, you have to go. That is this Hajj. So that is one of the conditions. That intellect, aql. Number three, there's al-hurriya. One has to be free, meaning not slave to anyone. If a person is slave to someone, Hajj is not wajib upon them, which doesn't exist today, but just speaking based on the ahkam al-shari'iyya. If one is considered a slave to someone, Hajj is not wajib. Even if they have the money, it's not wajib upon them. That's number three. Number four, they say, Allah yakuna hunaka mani'un. There shouldn't be any obstacles in terms of sickness, in terms of not being granted a visa, in terms of his wife or his children are sick that nobody can take care of them, then it's wajib upon that person to perform it. Number 4, they say al-istita', which is being able. What does it mean? Number 1, they say if a person can afford all the necessities in terms of ticket, food, all the expenses while he is there, they say that is 1. 2, if the person has a family here, he has to make sure that there is enough money that his family also can live on here. I cannot, as some people, say, I'm going to go to Hajj, even if my wife and children have to sleep hungry. No. Islamically, you are not considered mustaqil. I have to make sure that I have enough, I can afford all these necessities while I'm there, and also my family also can be taken care of while I'm there. If this all can be taken care of, then it's wajib upon you. Now, in Islam we have 3 types of Hajj. 1 is called wajib, Hajjul Qiran, Hajjul Ifrad, Hajjul Tamattu. 3 types of Hajj. Which one do we have to do? The first 2 is for those who live close to Mecca. And the 4th one is for those who live far away, which is you and I. When we go there, our responsibility of these 3 Hajj is what? Is Hajjul Tamattu. What do you do? The first part is one have to do Umrah, and then after Umrah, one have to take off their Ihram and wait for a few days for Hajj to start. And then they perform the Hajj, and it becomes the Hajjul Tamattu. I don't want to go into details on how you do it, but I just want to mention some point that might help us. Number 1, why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what is the wisdom behind wearing this ihram? And why does ihram has to be white ihram? Why? Why not black? Why not blue? There are many colors. Why did Islam pick white, that the ihram has to be white? Number 1, and why does it have to be 2 pieces of clothes? Why not a long dress? And these 2 pieces, one for men, you have to tie on your waist, and the other one on your shoulder, and that's it, nothing more. Number 1, one of the wisdom is this, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to remember that now you are coming to visit the house of Allah, and you don't need to take anything to the house of Allah. Remember, when the time comes to meet Allah, the real meaning, also you're not going to bring anything except this piece of cloth. Meaning, the time of death, when I die, meaning meeting of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I don't carry anything. All I need is what? Is these 2 pieces of cloth, and that's it. So it's like we have 2 types of traveling to Allah. One is temporary, the other one is permanently. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, before that permanent one comes, Allah says, try to learn from this journey, which is traveling to Allah, but temporary. So what do? When I go to that house of Allah, I don't have to take anything. Because Hajj, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to isolate everything and just be for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why when you put that ihram, you are not allowed to do almost 25 things. You have a beautiful lotion that you use at home. Allah says, when you get there, you know, I don't want. You have mirror that you look at yourself into it. You look, are you beautiful? Allah says, I don't allow you to do that. Forget about the mirror. Just be for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number 2, the reason why it's white clothes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to remind us that you are here in the land of Allah. If you perform your Hajj correctly, and the way Allah wants, you will be purified and clean as this ihram. Man hajja walam yarfud walam yafsuq رجع كيوم ولدته أمه.